Hello.
Good evening.
Welcome to Testimony
Yes,
Tuesday.
yes, yes, yes.
We are so excited that you are joining us on today. Um, we are excited about the show on
Yes,
today.
we have another powerful
Powerful,
testimony.
powerful,
Yes,
powerful
yes. So,
testimony.
yep.
One of the things that I will say is that we have been doing a lot of testimonies about cancer survivors, and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so today we are going to jump right in with I don't
Yeah.
even know how to describe this testimony. It
Well, it'll
is,
it'll speak for itself.
it will speak for
It'll speak
itself.
for itself. And as we navigated through Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we just still want to celebrate all the survivors, and we want to
Absolutely.
continue to keep the ones that are going through in prayer. And though this month is designated for that, we understand that that's something that could be acknowledged and recognized every month, all month long.
Absolutely. And we want to remember those who have transitioned in from this, from cancer period,
Yes.
those who have transitioned. My Aunt Linda, who I love so much, who transitioned in July, we want
Yeah.
to remember her as well. And so any others that have, you know, transitioned or experienced this, we want to continue to pray for them. My mom is a survivor, so
Absolutely.
we
Yeah.
are super excited. But our testimonies are based on Revelation 12 and 11 that says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. And so we always talk about the power of the testimony. And so we stand firm in believing that there is power in the testimony. And so on tonight, we have a super special guest with us on tonight.
Yes.
Her name is Latonya Allen. She is a wife, mother, advocate, and public speaker. She is a domestic violence survivor. She speaks in support and sometimes on behalf of children, women, and men whose lives have been impacted by domestic violence. Um, I'm not even going to read the rest that kind of tells her story because I want her to be able to
Yes.
tell her story. But her unique experience has motivated her to encourage others and become a champion of change. She has been on national platforms. Her story has been told on TV One,
Mhm.
and I think it's the Discovery. I don't know. I'll have to ask her that one. But her story has been told on national platforms. And so we want to go ahead and bring her up on today. We want you to tag, share. Welcome.
Hey!
We are so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Such a blessing for you. And to God be the glory that you are
Yes.
here to tell your story.
Yes.
Amen.
And so we want to jump right in. We know that domestic violence is serious. So what we want to do is we want you to take us to life before the tragic event happened in your life. Tell us just how life was before that date.
Before that tragic day, um I was married. I was married for 13 years to my ex-husband. He was like my high school sweetheart. We had our first child, my son, when I was in the 11th grade. So I was a teenage parent. Um, my mother, a pastor, my dad, a deacon of the church. So I grew up in church. I grew up serving under my mother's leadership, and um, eventually she licensed me as a minister. Um, I was able to, even though I had a son in high school, I was able still to complete high school and further my education in North Carolina Central University. So
Yay.
I'm a graduate from there. Yes. And so and then I got married while I was in college. So I was young. After I got married, I had two more children. So we have a total of three children. And so during that time, you young and things like that, I was a stay-at-home mom. And so I stayed at home with my children until, they started kindergarten. And so during that time was really challenging for me, being isolated, being away, not working. I like a recent graduate, and then I'm at home, and then I have my babies like back to back. They're only 11 months apart. And so I was going through postpartum. I was going, dealing with my own issues. And then at the same time, my ex-husband was dealing with his, and we just found ourselves just going separate ways. And I knew, like, the thing I always say, even in the marriage, we was together, married 13 years, he was never physically abusive to me. But he was very manipulative, controlling, everything, it had to be his way. It's his way or no way at all. So it was like we were always, the kids and I, just walking on eggshells, and just, don't do anything that upset him. Don't He'll leave, he's not gonna come back. So just trying to please him. And sometimes we stay in situations we think we can change it, and you can't change people. You only can change yourself. And I really just lost my identity in my marriage because everything I did for this man. And at that time, I was very unhappy in my marriage. I knew he was cheating, and then the alcohol started to increase and things like that. But I knew that once I left or decided to leave, it was going to be the hardest decision that I would ever make. So it took me a while to actually muster up the courage to leave. So I ended up leaving, and after much prayer and things, ended up leaving and moving in. The kids and I moving in with my parents.
Wow.
And so once, leading up to that day, once I left, that's when the threats began, because he was losing control, and he started threatening me, threatening my parents, to where I had to get a restraining order. And so going through that process. So I'm literally going through a separation and divorce, fighting for custody of my kids. I had no legal representation. He has an attorney, I think two attorneys. I'm in court, I have no idea about this process or things like that. And things in even though that the judge granted my restraining order for a year, they still allowed him to have visitations every weekend. So I still had to meet him on the weekend and be tortured and be, intimidated and things like that, to the point everybody was like scared of him, and then people thought I was crazy. They was like, why? Well, he's not gonna do anything to you. Like, he's so quiet, nice, You just never know when somebody's, start losing control and things like that. You don't know what people are capable of doing. And
Right.
so that day, after 4 months of going through that back and forth to court, um,
So
April 9th
you're taking us now to April 9th,
to that day.
2014.
hmm
Okay. Okay.
So leading up to that, like once I moved in with my parents, I was there 4 months before, this happened. And that was a time, it was very, very critical, very tense, very, because once you file a restraining order in North Carolina, CPS is involved. So now you have CPS involved, you have, this visitation, you fight for custody. I have no representation. And so I have no idea what I'm doing. And so it was just, we felt like it was like a lose battle. And so yeah, so that day, you want me to, um
Yeah.
that
So
day
take
comes
us,
April 9th.
yes, take us to April 9th.
Yeah, so April 9th, he calls me like early in the morning. He's calling me all day, repeatedly, calling my job, calling me. And I'm just ignoring it because I got a restraining order. Like, why are you calling me? And so I'm just ignoring the calls, not, you know, paying any attention. And so I get off work, and immediately when I get off work, my stomach starts hurting. Like, I'm like in so much pain. to where that was a Wednesday night and we have our Bible study on Wednesdays. And I told my mom when I got home, I was like, I can't eat, I can't do anything. Like I literally was like paralyzed. And I'm normally in church. And so she was like, well, I'll take the kids, we'll go to Bible study and you just rest. Me and my dad stayed at home. And so late on at night, my mom comes home, and I would say about 5 or 10 minutes after my mom walks in the door, he comes storming in our house and starts shooting.
Oh my God.
He first, me and the kids were in the back of the room, my mom in the front of the room, my dad in the kitchen. He turns, he comes in the house. Oh, nobody want to talk to me. No, he's arguing. Nobody want to talk to me because I didn't answer my phone. And he shoots and kills my mom. And then he shoots at my dad. And they literally run through the house. My dad like lead them to the back door, and it's just shooting. All you hear is gunshots. My kids screaming. And all I had time to do at that time was just call 911. I let him know that my ex-husband is here. I have a restraining order. And I just laid the phone down because I knew I was next. And all I had time to do was just push my kids in the closet that was like right next to me. As soon as I pushed my kids in the closet, he came into the back of the room and he started beating me. He started beating me so bad, pistol whipping me, punching me in my face. The gun is going off. My kids are screaming. I don't know if I'm being shot or not. And so I'm literally like fighting. I'm praying. I'm screaming. I'm yelling. And I'm begging him, please don't kill me in front of my kids. Just take me away. Don't kill me in front of my kids. And literally, I could reach my hand out to reach my kids, like in the closet next to me. And I remember, it's Testimony Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember, so the gun is going off. And I remember before being shot the last time, I was on my knees and I remember yelling out, Jesus, pow, and the gunshot goes off. And I go out and I was dying. And when I woke up, that night, he thought I was dead, right? So the kids, he goes to the closet, he gets the kids out, kissed the kids, want to give them a hug, and was like, "Man, you can call the police." And he went home. The EMS and the police arrived. They thought I was dead. I'm gone. And they're walking around the house, and they hear a like a gasp of air, and it scared everybody. It was like literally God had put the breath back in my body.
My God.
Nothing but a miracle, because they were walking over me. They was walking around like everybody thought I was gone. They thought I was gone. And so I remember gasping for air. I remember saying like, I'm hot, like I'm on fire. And then I went out again. But when I woke up the next time, it was 7 days later. And I found out that my parents were murdered. I found out that, they didn't survive. I suffered 2 gunshot wounds, one to my face, to my mouth where I lost my front teeth, and point blank range gunshot wound to my heart.
Jesus.
I was in a coma for 7 days. No signs of life. At the time, my brother was in the military and he was stationed in Missouri. So my kids went to foster care. And so my brother Mark and my oldest brother, once my other brother came into town, they had to fight, get my kids out of Erica. They had to get my kids, out of foster care. And nope, they didn't think I would survive. I remember my brother telling me, like, Tanya, we had started planning your funeral arrangements. Like, we had your funeral arrangements so we could just have 3, one big funeral. But God is a miracle worker. But God, when I tell you, when I woke up, it was like God had miraculously healed my body, because the gunshot wound that went through my heart, it went down, it bounced around, and hit like all my major organs, like my stomach, my liver, my kidneys, but it comes back up and it exits out the middle of my back. So that was like, even if I survived this heart surgery, I'd be paralyzed for the rest of my life because it literally had grazed my spine, exit wound in the middle of my back. And so no signs like, and I wake up. My family was not prepared for me to wake up, like
Jesus.
in shock. And when I tell you there's power in the name of Jesus,
Yes.
there is power. And I know that's what saved me. Nothing but the grace and the mercy of God, that I'm here, I'm alive, I could walk, I could talk, because I was beaten so severely. I had lost my eyesight in one of my eyes. I had lost a portion of my teeth. And then I had lost hearing in one of my ears. And I was just head swollen, face blown back. And like literally, and I woke up, and 2 days later, I left the hospital and went straight to my parents' funeral.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I'm in a wheelchair. I'm still hooked up to tubes. I'm still hooked up to everything. But I was able to leave the hospital and attend my parents' funeral. And people literally just gasp for air. Like when I come in, because some of them thought I think they even had reported on the news that I was dead. And I was in a coma. But yeah, I mean, God is able. It's nothing
Wow.
too hard for him. It's nothing. And it's like when the enemy, when they say no weapon formed against you shall prosper, it won't work. If it's not my time, it wasn't my time to go.
Right.
God still had a calling. Like my work wasn't done here.
Right.
And my mother, she was a pastor and things like that. She loved the Lord. They loved the Lord. They served in the community, served the church. Everybody loved them. Like people were just in shock, the whole community. And I lost my best friend. I lost my pastor. I lost my mentor. I lost everything. Like, because literally my life was just my family, my kids, and my church.
Wow.
And yeah, and everything taken in that one night. But I believe God kept me here for a reason. I believe, that He gave me the courage and the boldness to continue to share the gospel, the good news. And hopefully, I always share my testimony. People are like, how are you able to talk about it? I'm like, why not?
Right.
My whole perspective have changed about the way I looked at my own situation, because it could have been worse. Um, I found out in the trial, because they called him that night, and it was a death penalty trial once we were able to prepare for the trial. And I found out so many things about my own injuries, about, every detail about what happened leading up to, and just so many things. Like I could just see the hand of God was still protecting us, me and my kids,
Yeah.
and if I would have went to church that night, he actually went to the church to do this. So if I wouldn't have got sick, if I wouldn't have stayed at home and listened to that and just stayed at home, some other people, it could have been more people, you know. And I think about those lives that were saved, because he went there looking for me. He sent my son in there to see was I in church, and my son had no idea what was going on. And so yeah, I think about things like that. They said that another miracle, the bullet that went through my cheek, hit my teeth, and it deflected outward instead of going straight through my head. Like they
My
said, they showed the angle of where the bullet should have traveled, but it turned and it went outward. Then I found out that it was another he had shot at my head, the last bullet, and it had jammed. And they showed that bullet, and that bullet had bent completely in half. They said
my God.
we have never seen anything like this. Never,
Jesus.
never. And I mean, it was just, and that's why I give God praise and glory. Like I miss my parents so much every day. I think about them all the time, and then going through like this trauma, and then you got your own self and trying to recuperate and heal, and then I have my 3 children that witnessed this, and so just trying to just just survive. At one point, for a couple of years, I'm just surviving. It was just all about making sure my kids were good, and things like that. But I knew it was a bigger calling on my life. Like, I really knew God kept me here for a reason.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Wow.
So I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot.
Latonya,
It's
oh
so
my
much.
gosh.
That's just a little bit. It's more. It's more. It's just, I'm just so grateful. Like, I mean,
Yes.
even after learning that my parents had passed, and I know they lived a life, they love the Lord. Like, I know they're in heaven with the Lord. And I just decided to, like, I can't live here. I had survived all of this,
Yes.
and this man had controlled me for so long, and I survived, and he's locked up for the rest of his life. And I'm gonna stay out here and live a miserable life. Like, man, I was like, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna take care of my kids, take care of my family. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna
Yes.
be, I'm gonna serve. Whatever he want me to do, I'm gonna do
Yes.
it. Like, I just decided, I made a decision. Like, I'm gonna live. Like, not just going through the motions, not just, whatever. I literally made a conscious decision. I was like, no, I'm fighting. I'm fighting.
Yes.
Like, he should have took me out when he had a chance. It's his own now. I'm
Right.
fighting. I'm fighting not for me. I'm fighting for it's another generation. These young people going through things. People are dealing with stuff they don't tell. They don't talk to people about. They don't know who to trust, who to talk to. The church is just failing. It's just so much going on,
Absolutely.
and people just want to be around genuine, God fearing people. That's just that they can trust and just talk to. And I'm that person. I'm that friend. Like, I'm like, I get you. Like, I get it.
Yes.
Like, it's no judgment. Like, I get it. I know what it's like to grieve. I know what it's like, to have to go through a process like this, and literally walking through it. Not I mean walking through it. While every single day. Every single day
Yes.
making a conscious decision, like, nah, no, we're not doing.
Latonya, how are your kids? How are they doing?
My kids are doing so good. I'm so proud of them. My son, at the time when this happened, my son was 15 years old, and my daughters were 7 and 8. And so, and they remember everything. My son, he had to testify in court, and things like that. But through therapy and we have very good family support. We have some good leaders, and I eventually remarried my husband now. We just really like stepped up and made sure that they had all of the resources and things that they need.
So the
And
Lord blessed you again. Like he
again,
blessed you. He blessed you. And so now you are remarried.
yes, yes,
Wow. Praise
remarried,
the Lord.
yes,
Doing ministry together.
doing ministry together. He's a worship leader. He's a worship leader. We actually having our first service next Saturday,
Yeah.
and my mentor, Dr. Dixon, she will be there, our speaker.
Yeah.
And so we just, letting the Lord lead us. It's not church as usual. It's not form or fashion. We just come, we'll be able to lay before the Lord and pray, and get some good teaching, some good words, some good worship,
Yeah.
and I'm all about fellowship, because I feel like, when the enemy always tries to isolate us,
Yep.
and we feel like, oh, we the only ones. Like, nobody understands, or nobody, yeah, they may not have like tragic stories like we do, but we all need each other. We all need each other,
Yes.
and I feel like I'm winning if you winning. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, I feel like, look, what y'all got going on? I want to go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
I feel
Yes.
like when we come together, because where there's unity, there's strength. And
Yes.
so I needed people in my corner. I needed, you know, so many people talked about me. So many people, you know, and when you grieve, everybody grieves different, right?
Yes.
You know, and it's no right or wrong way to grieve. Like, it's no, how do you deal with something like how do you pick up the pieces and continue on with a smile on your face and with a grateful heart and gratitude and still love God and still not blaming nobody, you know, and still not blaming him, you know, why? Of course you have questions, but there is a peace that passes all understanding.
Mhm.
And I know God, you know,
Yes.
at the time, literally when I woke up that night, I had an encounter with God. And
Mm.
all I had was a word. And I stood on that word. He said, I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. He said, when your mother and your father forsake you, then the Lord will take you up. And literally, that's all I had to stand on was a word. But the good thing is that my mom, you know, my teachers, I already had a foundation, you know, a solid foundation and of just knowing who he is and things. This just brought me closer to the Lord, like a
Yes.
closer relationship to him. Like, God, now it's just you and me, you know,
Yes.
and you gonna have to help me walk through this, or I'm gonna lose my mind. You
Mhm.
know, because not only were we grieving, you know, in private, but we was grieving in public, you know, in front of, in a platform, you know, this was on
Yeah.
TV. This is streamed live, the trials is live, you know, things like that. And so that's a lot. It's a heavy weight, you
And
know,
so
but
your story was, tell us where it was featured at. It was on, I know
it
TV
was
One.
featured recently on TV One show called The Payback, which is called I was going to say Fatal Attraction, Payback, so the same type of show. And then also on Discovery Plus and the ID channel. And it's a show called American Monster.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, Latonya, this story, we have no words. It is so powerful. I've been reading some of the chat, and the people are just saying what power it is in the name of Jesus.
It
And
really is.
just look at God and just,
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't get my comments up tonight. I don't know what's
It's
wrong.
okay.
But they
Right.
are here. So, but
Right now, we just want to give you the biggest hug right now.
yes,
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you
that
so
is.
much.
And when
Thank
I look
you.
at you and your smile, people always say you don't look like what you've been through. But when I
Mhm.
look at you to have been
Mhm.
shot in your face,
Mhm.
you don't look
Yeah.
like what you've
Praise
been
God.
through. And then to lose both of your parents, God is he is such a keeper. And he is
He is.
definitely keeping you,
He is. He
definitely
is
doing it. And
every day.
it's evident. It is so
Mhm.
evident. And so I want to go back to the service. Um, you said, and I wish I could, and I don't even know if I can do this, but I'm gonna try. So you said that the service, tell us about the service that you all are having on next week.
Yes, it's a fellowship service. It's not church. We literally are just letting God lead us. And just be free, you know, to worship and praise God. And we will have my cousin minister, Jessica. She'll be coming and giving us a teaching on prayer and praying. And we'll do some declarations, and then I have my mentor come in to speak, and we just, just allowing God to really just, let just flow and just whatever you need, I believe and trust God. He'll be in the place, he'll be there. And we just looking for a move of God and just to be in his presence,
Yes.
together.
And so
Together.
we know Dr. Tamosa Dixon. Yes,
Yes.
she is on live tonight as well.
Awesome. I love you.
Yes, so she will
Yeah,
be
we love
here.
her. We love her.
Love her so much. Oh my
And
God.
so
It's
go ahead.
Yeah, it's nothing like someone, pouring into you and just helping you like, hey, look, I got you. Like, don't do this, and I just love her. I love her spirit, and it's just, she's so encouraging, and I just needed that push. I needed somebody in my corner to be like, hey, you got it, because I don't have my mom. I'm not looking for another mom, but it's like you just want somebody to be like, hey, you got it, you got it. Just trust it, just trust it. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's all we doing. We not perfect, and my husband and I, we just, learning as we go, and we just love people. We love God, and we just, are excited about what he's done in our life. And we just want to share it. We just want to, just be able to encourage somebody. I mean, we do this behind the scenes every day, literally.
Yes.
We work with young people throughout the week. I mean, talking them off a ledge, like we get all kinds of calls. And so it's a lot of work, that we're doing behind the scenes that people we don't talk about or we don't share. And and it's just a blessing to to be used by God in that way.
Absolutely.
It's a blessing.
Absolutely. And so again, I just want to um, reiterate that service is November the 5th at 6:30, and it is
Yes.
at 3801 Jonesville Road in Wake Forest. And I will post the flyer on my
Yes. And
page
the
as well.
exciting thing is we will be at my mom's church. So I was just so
Oh,
excited today to find out we can go back into the building and have a service there. So it's gonna be kind of emotional for me, but hey, I believe she wouldn't have it no other way, and it's just
right.
like that. It's like that push for me, like to be back home,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, Tanya, you got it, go, because that's
Yes.
what if she was here, she'd be like, if you don't get up and get out there and preach and do what God called you to do, yeah,
Yes.
she didn't play. They called her Fireball, and
Wow.
that's what she was like. I mean, but yeah, so I'm excited about next week. Excited.
Excellent.
Wow.
It sounds like your parents were amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. And so before we leave on tonight, we want you to encourage. So there is someone out there who is in a domestic situation now, and
Maybe it
they're
may be the beginning stages. They may be in the middle of it, or wherever they are in the situation. They don't know what to do and how to do it.
and
Speak,
they're scared.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speak to those people right now.
hmm If you are in a domestic situation, or even if it's not domestic, you just in a situation where you feel like there's no hope. Um,
Mm,
don't give up. Don't give up. The thing is, sometimes we feel like we're fighting battles alone, and we're not. Connect, reach out to me, booklatanya.com, hit me up, email me. I'm
yeah.
here. Like, it's so many resources out here, that, we can get you some help. But just know that, there is hope. There's hope after domestic violence. I know it seems like a lot of women don't make it out, but but there are so many resources now, and we're getting educated, and we're educating our leaders and our pastors on how to handle these situations. So it's getting better, now. So I just want to encourage you, hey, you can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you. If you just keep the faith and hold on, but connect with somebody, talk to somebody. Don't walk this walk by yourself. You are not alone. You are loved. You are cherished. And God has so much purpose in you. I always say, if you have a pulse, you have purpose.
That's good.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That is,
Wow.
wow. That is good. That is good. If you have a pulse,
If you have
you
a pulse,
Yes.
you still got purpose. Yeah.
wow. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for
Thank you.
sharing your
Welcome.
testimony. I
Thank
just
you.
believe
Welcome.
that this has shown people, because sometimes the enemy will try to beat us up
He
and
will.
will literally, and sometimes grief will try to overtake you,
It will.
and you have to be careful. And starting November, we're doing our testimony time
hmm
centered around grief. So this is like a good
Oh, okay. Oh,
into
that's
this.
good.
And
hmm
we're going to be talking about lost and how you survive and how you overcome that. And so you are such a testament of how you survive and how
Yeah.
you overcome
Mhm.
that. And your testimony, it has already touched millions. So I mean, it just keeps on. And
Yeah.
someone is going to hear your story today, and they're going to be encouraged, and they're going to have the courage to walk away. And
Yeah.
so that is, and we know that we have here in Henderson, we have infinite possibilities.
Infinite
You can,
possibilities. Kanika,
yes, yes, you can
safe
contact
space. Yes.
safe space. That's right. If you feel threatened, or if you're afraid
Mhm.
and you don't know your next step, please contact Infinite
Please contact.
Possibilities Safe
Mhm.
Space. I feel
Right.
like there's one in Granville County as well. I can't even remember the name of it, but those are some local people that are here to help you. And so
Yeah.
we definitely want you to get the help that you need, because you don't have to stay in that place.
You don't have to. You don't have to. And like I said, you it like I said, when I say there's hope, in situations like this, you just gotta know who you are. Once you
Mhm.
figure out and know who you are, who God made you to be, I mean, it's a strength that comes with that. It's like, nobody can shake you. Nobody can, when you have purpose. Like, you may not have it all figured out, but hey, I'm called to do something for the
Yeah,
Lord on this earth before I leave. You know what I'm saying? But you really got to know who you are, because that's the thing. You got to know your identity in Christ. And
absolutely.
once you get that and stand firm on that, it's nothing can stop you. It's really nothing can stop you. So it's just building up that confidence.
Yeah.
And everybody's given a measure of faith. We just gotta tap into it.
Come
Like,
on.
we just gotta tap into it. Like, what motivates you? What's your fight? What makes you fight? What makes you, things like that. And that's why I'm here. Like, I just like to push, encourage, especially our young people.
Mhm.
I love going to the universities. I'll be at Central for homecoming for the
Wow.
next 2 to 3 weeks, speaking to the girls.
Yes.
I'll be at A&T, and so I'm pretty busy at the universities, because I feel like if we catch it early,
Yes.
and just start, letting these girls know, hey, you got, hold on to your identity, hold on to who you are. Don't let nobody change you. Be who be yourself. Don't try to fit in and doing all this other stuff. But I just, want to be a mentor to them and encourage them. Like, yeah, I got you. I got
I
you.
love it.
Yep.
One of the things that you said earlier, and I think this is key even for people who may find themselves in the situation, he wasn't hitting you, he
No.
wasn't fighting you, but he was
Yep.
controlling you. And
Yep.
so sometimes we think domestic violence is when someone is fighting you or laying
Right.
their hands on you, but it could be mental, it could be emotional.
Yes.
It's not just the physical. And
Right.
so that is something you have to look for. And like you said, the sign, you're walking on
Yeah.
eggshells,
You walking on eggshells. He controlled the finances. I mean, literally, like, to a T. Like, I couldn't buy like personal items and stuff like that. Everything I had to do had to be tracked. I had to pay all the bills. It was so much that I learned once I got out. And that was another reason why I stayed so long, because all I knew for abuse was physical. And so I had no idea I was in an abusive or unhealthy relationship until I got out and
wow,
started learning and educating myself, and like, yo, this is not healthy. Like, this is toxic. And not only sometimes we stand in situations, for me, I was like, I'm just trying to keep my family together, keep my kids. I ain't trying to split the family up. But hey, them kids, they know what's going on. You thinking you stand to keep the family together, but it's not. It's the kids are picking up on things. They may not say anything. You may think they're too young, but they're picking up on things. And so we have to protect them, as well. And so like, it's so important, like, now, as I'm studying domestic violence and relationships and identity and things like that, like, I'm learning so much. I was like, wow, I wish somebody would have told me this.
mhm,
But
right.
yeah, I mean, it's just, when you got a good heart and things like that, people just take advantage. And so that's why I say it's so important to know who you are and you just got to stand on that.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for sharing your testimony. I know that it has helped someone. One of the comments that I read here said, "This has been an encouragement to me, and I'm glad that I chose to leave my situation." And so that's what someone is, saying up here on tonight. And so Dr. Dixon said, if you have a pulse, you have a purpose. I love it. I love it.
Right.
Latonya, thank you so much.
Yes.
Guys, don't forget November the 6th, 6:30, for a time of worship, word, and prayer. So we are super excited about that service. So if you can make it, try to join Latonya.
Yes, bring the kids, y'all. Bring the kids. What's about
teenagers?
They're not too young. They're not
dating
too young.
violence is real. Yes,
that's where it starts.
Yes. So again, we tell you thank you for having the courage to share your story. And I love what the Lord is doing in your life, how you have pushed past the pain into your purpose. And so to God be the glory. Guys, we ask you join us again next week. We have another powerful testimony coming from Miss Sally Nelson. We are super excited to have her on next week. And the following week, it's us, Jim.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. We're going to share our testimony as we have the upcoming anniversary date.
Yep.
So 2 weeks from now, we'll share our own story. So thank you so much for joining us. Good night.
Thank you for having me. Love you guys.
Yes, you are more than welcome. The resources have been put in the chat. There are it's over like 85 comments up here. I can't even see them all. I hate I couldn't post any of them. But the information, my sisters put the information in the chat. So you are able to see the service as well as the different organizations locally that are able to help you if you found yourself in this situation. Good night. To God be the glory.